Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my custom LEGO Star Wars RZ-1 U-Wing MOC. So this model is a custom build of mine that's built from the ground up, completely scratch, not based off of any LEGO set, not based off of anyone else's MOC. It's just my own complete design. And I'm really pleased with it. The A-Wing has always been one of my favorite Star Wars ships, so I really wanted to have a go at building a custom LEGO version. It's been a really fun ship to build, and I'm super happy with the result. I know a lot of people have tackled the RZ-1 in LEGO before, but I wanted to have my own version and do as best as I could with the parts that I had available. So the RZ-1 A-Wing is a really small and fast ship. It's lightly shielded, doesn't have much armor or protection, so it's usually only flown by the most daring pilots in the Rebel Alliance. I've always liked that about the A-Wing. I just think it's super interesting how dangerous it is, how exciting it must be to fly one. And I just always loved the shape of the craft. It's so sleek. If you can count the correct number of times I say sleek in this video, then you'll win 1 million V-Bucks, courtesy of me. Just kidding, I'm literally broke, but I say the word sleek a lot, so heads up. And I love the way the front of the nose comes to just this sharp kind of point or line or whatever. I just really think it's such a beautiful ship with a really graceful and timeless design. So let's go ahead and get into my LEGO version. So to start with, we have it displayed on this little stand, which is just something I built to basically show it off on. It's easily removable. It just goes in with this Technic axle into a little spot on the bottom. As you can see, I think the shapes for it are really accurate, and they match up with the real A-Wing very well, I think. One of my favorite parts of the build that I was able to catch in LEGO form is, of course, the nose. I got it to this really thin kind of point. And of course I got the mandible in there. There's kind of these two mandibles on each side with the cutout in between. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a way to get the cutout a little thinner. Ideally it would be a lot narrower, but I just couldn't find a way to do it with the rest of my designs. That is a little unfortunate, but I think it still looks great, and if you wanted to, you could easily swap out the pieces and just give it a completely flat nose without the cutout. But in general, I'm super, super happy and proud of the nose of this ship, just how thin and sleek and narrow it is. That has always been one of the most important aspects of the A-Wing, how just thin and sharp it comes to at the front. It just looks like it could cut through the air. And another really interesting thing about the front of the A-Wing is that it's actually a really reinforced part of the ship. And everyone knows in Return of the Jedi when Green Leader goes ah and crashes into the Super Star Destroyer's bridge. The A-Wing was actually designed basically to be kamikazed like that into other ships if it was damaged, and the pilot otherwise wouldn't have been able to survive anyway. So that's why the front of the A-Wing was kind of reinforced and basically designed to take out other ships like that if it was the only way out. So I just thought that was a really interesting fact that I wanted to share. But yeah, I'm super, super pleased with how the nose of this ship came out. When it's just coming at you, it just looks so mean and sleek and aerodynamic, just like cutting through space. Another key feature that I wanted to get was this kind of angle, this slope right here. a lot of Legos A-wing sets have had more of a curve to it, and in reality the A-wing has a much more linear slope. So that's what I wanted to capture with mine, and I think I did a pretty good job of it. You can just see how it just rises up in that straight line, and there's no real gap where any of that connects, so I'm super proud of that. Another thing I'm happy with is that there is no gaps around the cockpit. It's all very sleek. One thing I captured here on the sides is kind of this little grill piece. The 1x2 is meant to convey the proton torpedo launcher, I believe, or concussion missile launcher, I believe it is both. But that's what that is there. It's kind of meant to show where they would come out. So I think that looks really nice. I do like the whole way I got this, the way it kind of simulates the rounded over edge of the U-wing. And it's something that I think I did better than a lot of Legos playset U-wings, honestly, not to flex or anything, but I just think it looks better. But of course, this model is not as strong as Legos playsets. That being said, it's not weak, I don't think. You can easily swoosh it around. It feels really fun to fly around. The most fragile bits are, of course, the laser cannons. They're pretty easy to knock off, but if you do knock them off, they're gonna pretty much just stay in one piece. Like the actual laser cannon itself is a solid build. It's just easy to knock off the ship, but then you can just take it and pop it right back on. And of course, one feature to go along with the laser cannons is the fact that they can rotate backwards. So it's just pretty simple. It just rotates on the stud. And they can shoot behind, which is of course accurate to the in-universe RZ-1 A-wing. And I'm really pleased with the detail I got for the laser cannons in general. I think they look pretty perfect for what the RZ-1 should have. They're the perfect size, I think, and they look great to me. Going back to the cockpit, I really like the way I kind of smoothed out this back section and how it comes together. Just this little sleek curving line going this way and this way. It's just, I think it captures that point of the A-wing really well, and it's a nice transition from the cockpit. It kind of mirrors the front cockpit look, and it's just a really smooth and sleek way that it transitions from the front to the back. So, the engines on the A-wing. One thing I'm really kind of sad about with my custom build is that I didn't have any red pieces for this piece right here. I didn't have this in red, which ideally it should be. There should be some red on the A-wing's engines, like right here, maybe carried back into here a little bit. I had to use white with my version. It's not a big deal. I still think it looks great. It just doesn't perfectly match the RZ-1s that we see in Return of the Jedi and a lot of other Star Wars sources. But of course you have the glowing yellow exhaust coming out of there, the kind of thrust from the engines. You kind of have these thrust vectoring vanes, I believe they are, right here, which are simulated. And of course, the fin up here connects into that, which I think is pretty decent. I don't think it's the thing I captured best on this by any means. There's other builders who have done 1,000 times better than me with that bit there, but all in all, I'm definitely content with it. Maybe one day I can try and make it better, but for now, I'm pretty content with how it is. And I think the fins themselves are a nice shape and size, and you're able to get them at a really nice angle where they're not too leaned over or too upright. They're just pretty perfect because you're able to kind of rotate the engines. So that's how the fins are angled in that manner. I just think the detail around there it's pretty nice in general. The fins look good. I use these panel pieces on the back side of the fins to show less of a gap when looking at it from either side. And I think that's a really good look. The whole underside I think is pretty sleek as well. It looks really good to me for what it is. Undersides on Lego builds can often be pretty challenging to look good with all the undersides of studs that typically show. But here I have a lot of upside down connections and upside down pieces, which really give a nice sleek look. And we have a bit of greebling detail back here towards the rear, which looks really nice. And it just adds in a bit of extra detail that I think enhances that area of the ship. Now, returning back to the cockpit, the canopy is of course removable very easily. It just pops off just like that. And you can fit a figure inside very easily, as you can see there. If you pull the figure out, you can see there is a lot of detail in there. There's control consoles on all sides. There's a bucket handle used as a control yoke, same as I used in the U-wing that I did. And I think it's a really, really great piece to use for that effect. It just looks great. And yeah, there's a nice tan kind of seat and interior lining, which looks really good and kind of elegant, I think. I'm super pleased with that. And it's just super easy to take a minifigure, pop them in. There's plenty of room for them. It's not, you're not having to squeeze them in or put their arms in some funky way. It just works time and time again, no hassle. As I was showing earlier, the whole A-wing is relatively sturdy. The only fragile bits, like I said, were the guns, the laser cannons, and the fins can be kind of knocked around or knocked off pretty easily, or fairly easily. They're not the weakest thing. It's not going to fall apart by any means. But if you do bang it, yeah, they'll come apart, and it's probably not the best play set for a kid, but you can definitely swoosh it around and be a little bit rough with it as long as you know how to hold it. But so it's just really the fins and laser cannons that are any sort of issue, but it feels just so good to swoosh around like this, and I just think it looks so great from pretty much every angle. I love the way it tapers in from top and bottom right here. It's just such a cool, sleek, sharp look. I know I said that already, but it's just, I love it. I love it so much. The A-wing is just beautiful. Yeah, that is basically everything on the A-wing. It's a much smaller craft than the U-wing, which I showed last time. It doesn't really take that much time to show everything that's on it. It's pretty quick to get through it all. But overall, it's been a lot of fun designing this ship when I did it, and I really couldn't be more happy with the end result. Like I said, there's probably so many custom A-wing MOCs that are out there, and probably so many that are so much better than mine, probably way better than I'll ever be able to do in my life, but I'm happy with mine, so that's really all that matters. I hope that y'all like it too. It really was a lot of fun, and a lot of fun showing it off to you guys. Of course, there will be more MOCs to come. I have one really big one that I'll be super excited to show you when I get around to doing that. I think y'all will love it, or I hope so at least. It's been one of my kind of ongoing projects for the past month, or maybe a couple months actually. And I'm super proud of it, so that'll be really exciting when I get to filming that video. But for now, thank y'all so much for watching. This was my custom RZ-1 A-Wing MOC. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much, and thank you all so much for watching. You all have a great day, and stay safe out there. Keep building, keep designing, keep mocking, whatever it is you do in Legos. Just have fun with it. So that's about it. Once again, I'm Hallie, and this is my RZ-1, so bye.